All right, let's dive into it, Garrett. Before we get to we'll get to the rundown this way. Let's start with Colorado and North Dakota State last night. If you ask me what is different between Colorado in 2024 as it was in 2023, they're in a different conference, and it is 2024. There is not much different about this team now. To give their offensive line credit, it is better.
It is.
But it went from an F- to a C-, D+, depending on the moment. They still can't run the ball very well.
Which is very surprising.
Which was surprising. They still have an offense that's kind of more grip it and rip it than methodical. And their defense is what their defense was. I mean, it's hard to gauge against North Dakota State, but North Dakota State
they're good, man.
Attacked them really, really well. And if you're going to say, okay, well, if North Dakota State, who's really, really good and probably has 10 to 15 guys that could transfer to FBS schools, if they could go up, they could. So it's a pretty fair gauge on what they're going to see, at least at the bottom rung of the Big 12. I think North Dakota State could have maybe handled, last year's Cincinnati team.
Oh, probably. I mean, there was probably a couple of teams in the Big 12 they could have got last year.
They probably would have beat last year's Baylor team.
Yeah.
Just because, that game went exactly as I said it was going to go. Fundamentals, but too much athleticism on the other side. So before I get into dogging Colorado, let's talk about things that they have that are not good but great. Shedeur Sanders is fantastic. He is absolutely fantastic. I am not going to stand here and take any slander on Shedeur Sanders' ability to play. If you don't like Shedeur Sanders, it's because you don't like his dad, you don't like their whole personality, their whole vibe.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's not that's not real, guys. That's let the guy be his personality, and then we don't know him. That's what I try to do. TV personality, real personality is a lot different thing. I call it the Phil Mickelson index. If you looked at Phil Mickelson before everybody figured out he was kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
He was the guy. Vijay Singh would walk down the golf course like a zombie, very focused on the game. But if you were at a tournament, and I saw this at 3 different tournaments I went to, and we're like, "Yo, Phil," he'd be like,
"Yep,
what's up, buddy? How you going? Yeah, all right. Are you pounding buds right now? All right, there we go." He would wink and gun you, wave at you. But after the thing, if a little kid walked up and go, "VJ Singh, you're my favorite golfer," he'd be like, "Oh man, that's great, thank you." And "Oh, Phil, I hope you beat Tiger." Yeah, okay, whatever.
Be gone.
I mean, all right. Are there cameras here? Or,
Yep.
So what if they killed a journalist? That's Phil, right? Well, I got money. I got mine.
Don't mind me.
I didn't know him, that was kind of his vibe. But last night, the nice thing about that game for Colorado was, look, Travis Hunter is
oh my God, dude,
is the truth.
That one, the last touchdown catch he made was one of the greatest catches I've ever seen.
Yeah,
ever.
That's actually the only touchdown catch he made.
Well, I guess that was the only touchdown, but he made
he made 3 touchdowns, but it's the only one he made without interfering with the guy.
Yeah.
But let me tell you this, I don't care, because if they don't call it, they don't call it.
No.
I can't sit here as a Cowboys fan from the 90s and tell you offensive pass interference bothers me. It does not. He's got a little Michael Irvin in him, and he's not that big, but he's clearly pretty strong.
Oh, yeah.
Because he can brush off of people. And
well, they were letting him play, though. I did like that. There were some calls towards the end, and they missed some calls. But for overall, I think that for being a first game out the gate, it was pretty clean by both parties. And I like how they let them just kind of the receivers and the defenders go at it.
Yeah, they did. And it was a good game. North Dakota State had a shot they caught the Hail Mary, man.
Yes.
I mean, Colorado does not look different. And I will be interested to see if Nebraska looks different this week.
I think they will.
And if they do, then that game next week gets a little heavier. Even so, and I think it's a big game for both squads, obviously. And I can tell you, Matt Rule wants it. Like, not that he doesn't, but like this one, I promise you.
Well, also like looking at the success last night that Cam Miller was able to have, the quarterback from North Dakota State, like every time he wanted to drop back and throw a ball across the middle, it was wide open.
Yeah.
The secondary for Colorado could not cover at all. So I think Dylan Raiola, if he lives up to the hype, should be able to pick apart that secondary, but it's probably going to be a shootout next week. Honestly, because Shedeur is so good. He's so efficient. His pocket presence is really, really good. I like how he doesn't just try to he only runs if he has to. But man, his just poise in the pocket is so surreal. It's you could tell he's ready to make the jump.
He's ready. He's ready. Man, like when I was watching that game last night and thinking, particularly about Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. I took myself to an alternate universe where Deion was like, I'm the richest dude ever. I don't need a coach. Like, this is not my thing. I'm just going to be on TV and I'm going to support my alma mater unconditionally. And, you were daydreaming. I was daydreaming man, Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. And
Florida State he took him, didn't he?
The last damn day. I mean... that was funny. Last night was the first. John Machota and I texted.
I bet.
Last night was the first time I ever felt it. Like I was always. Man, I always was like, dang.
Yeah.
Last night was like, oh.
And I don't know. Like he's good. Like I hope he wins the Heisman.
Hey, I hope he wins the Heisman. Like I'm all for him winning the Heisman.
I am too.
I'm all for him winning the Heisman. I think if he wins the Heisman, he's going number 1 overall.
He should.
Unless it's a quarterback. Like, if it's somebody like, say, Carolina, who's not going to do that again, and if Bryce Young's not the problem, or somebody or like Minnesota. Like, if Minnesota struggles this year, they wind up with the number 1 overall pick. Well, they drafted J.J. McCarthy. That's your number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, But, again, that depends. But he'll be in the top 5. Mm-hmm. He may be the first non-quarterback drafted. I'll put it that way.
He probably will be, outside of like a big defensive lineman that steps up or something like that. But he'll definitely be a top 5 pick at least.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it was just, those are great things. Look, Jimmy Horn Jr. is a stud. LaJohntay Wester, like I told you guys, he's catching passes. Like he's a weapon for Shedeur, especially in those situations since they don't have a running game and they can, throw a little short pass to him and he can create.
Yeah.
Like that's a big thing for them. So that's the good. The bad is they just don't look like they're tough. They're
finesse. Deion was finesse. We hear all the time about coaches take on the identity of players take on the identity of their coach. When you have a finesse guy, you're going to have that.
Yeah.
They're more about the flash, the style points, the explosive plays. They're not about getting gritty, getting down, and winning those. Whereas North Dakota State, that's their whole damn identity.
Yeah, it's reversed, right? It's totally reversed. So I thought that was great. Let's get to a couple of the tweets from things last night. Deion, I think this is better than his, do you believe now thing.
Yeah, he toned it down a bit.
He toned it, this is smarter than do you believe now? I was like, Ed Werder's like, I mean, what? Like,
do I what?
It's not like I said there's no ghosts, and then very clearly there was a ghost here.
Yeah.
Like Abraham Lincoln was like, hello, I am Abraham Lincoln's ghost. Let me walk through you and do that. Some of you got upset that we got the W. Some of you really mad we didn't get the L. So God bless y'all. You'll have to wait again until next week. That's the appropriate level of trash talk for being a head coach. Mm-hmm. And it's here's the thing. It's true.
Oh, it is. I mean, there was a lot of people that I would love to see the number. I know Craig will probably have the numbers next week when he does Off the Radar on Tuesday, but the amount of hate watching that game probably got and will get throughout the entire year. It's going to be something to monitor because Deion's personality rubs me the wrong way. He comes like evangelical, or a politician. I just can't really get with the vibe. But I mean, so I wouldn't necessarily hate watching, but I guess I could have kind of been thrown in that category. I would have liked to see North Dakota State win, but I do respect what we saw out of Shadur, and I respect what we saw out of Travis Hunter. And the playmakers they do have, that is the only difference. They have more weapons. They just don't have, Shadur still doesn't have the time to really take advantage of all of the what he has out on the field with him.
Yeah. That's true. They've got to get better. All right, this on Travis Hunter.
Okay.
This is from Mike Renner, who I reached out to today, to no avail. Travis Hunter only came off the field for 2 plays the entire game.
It's ridiculous.
Last night.
I don't know, like, the conditioning he has to have. And talking, they were talking about, like, his post-game therapy, like, everything he goes through. Like, man, I don't know how you
that's
do
like
that.
marathon runner stuff. And he's fast. Like, usually sprinters don't have that kind of. There's a reason that you only do, like in the Olympics, the elite sprinters only do 2 or 3 heats a day.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're expending all your energy in a mad sprint to be that. So, yes, Sydney McLaughlin's one of the best athletes in the world, but we're not going to make her do 3 400s in a day at full speed.
Right.
You're going to make her do 2, and the next day you'll make her do, like, in the finals, they only have 1, like, like all that. So it's impressive what he's doing.
I haven't, like, throughout my time of watching college football, I haven't really been able to fully see the amount of dual threat or both athletes that go both ways as you have. You look at your Champ Baileys and Desmond Howards, people that were able to do it. When you look at what Travis Hunter does, like, is he the best two-way player we've ever seen in college football?
I mean, I don't know about that yet. I mean, he's close. I mean, he's the one who's like, because here's the thing, like Champ Bailey played 2 ways. Charles Woodson played 2 ways. Deion played a little bit, but all was all like a package for them.
Yeah, but this is like, dude's not.
Yeah. I mean, this is something people haven't done in forever. I mean, forever.
Yeah.
Since the 40s, So, I mean, it's really amazing what he's doing. So you just can't hate on that.
No, you can't. You got to respect
hate on that all. All right, going to run through the rest of our tweets here and get through some of that stuff. And then when we come back, I want to talk about Utah, and I want to talk about Kansas, and I want to talk about UCF. But I feel like our emotions on Colorado are out. We'll talk about it later in the show with Josh. But right now we've got other things to take care of, and we don't want to get focused in and be like, let's talk about Deion all the time.
No, I mean, we
listen.
Gave him the time.
I'm not going to chase clicks and views. No. If that was the thing, I'd pull like a picture of Sydney Sweeney behind us, and, and major league it for everything.
We wouldn't get nothing done. we would totally derail Sports Tonight.
You know what? You know what? I'm going to put a theory out there. About a week ago, she put out an Instagram story that like exploded all over the place. Like many of the people who were looking at it. Hey-oh. But like it went very viral. That night at about 9 o'clock, Channel 10 sent me a text going, hey, we're missing a segment.
Oh.
And I was like, well, that's weird. Same day.
Yep.
Same day.
Emery.
Just saying. Same day. But yeah, okay. Let's move on. All right. So this one I moved earlier on because Paxton has been so loyal and UT Parking has been so loyal. So I wanted to give, especially since I spent a significant amount of Mondays, triple option, absolutely saying awful things about the University of Texas and how much I despise them, and watching them play against Florida would just be me watching, just hate watching everything. So this is really good news for them. In the last 3 weeks, the Longhorns have landed these prospects. This is what the SEC does for you, and NIL and all those things.
That's more of it.
They were joining the SEC at the perfect time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this could not have been more written in the stars for them. Jonah Williams, the #1 safety, Kalik Lockett, the number 4 wide receiver. And then just yesterday, in what was a months-long battle, picked up Jamie French, 2 Fs French, from Florida, from Jacksonville, Florida. And it was down to them in Miami, tooth and nail. And I'm wondering if Miami's little NIL, thing happened. But I think this is all about Texas being in a much better spot.
For me, this is the deep pockets that Texas has that they're going to be able to exploit and do whatever they want and truly get whoever they want. And if you look at Williams and French in particular, while Miami was in the mix down there, both of them, LSU was in the mix. And it was really, if you look at Jonah Williams, it was down to, I believe it was LSU, Texas, and one other school, whereas French, it was LSU, Texas, and Miami. And LSU has not got the money. That's one thing with Texas coming in. They're not going to be able to recruit with them on that par. They're going to get theirs, but Texas right now, what they're doing is super impressive, and this is only the beginning because
that's why Brian Kelly said, "Look, we're going to take care. We're going to take care of people, but if we're going to get into a bidding war,
you can't do it with Texas.
We can't do it.
No.
So they're going to have to And look, it doesn't mean just because you win bidding wars, you're going to be good.
No, you got to develop. But Texas has shown right now, Sark and them, that they have the right everything in place to not only get high caliber players, but actually develop them in a way that hasn't been done in over a decade there.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's impressive. It's impressive. All right, let's go to this next one. Michael McCann at McCann Sports Law. If the NCAA settlement in the House case is preliminarily approved, college athletes in the different classes will be notified about their rights, including if they want to opt out of them, which most won't.
Right.
There might be some, I'm going to stand on principle here, people. How will they be notified? One way is through a postcard.
Yeah, because
that's how you, Emery, last time you answered a postcard.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, exactly. Emery didn't even know what a postcard is.
Why can't you, we're at a point where you have everybody's information. Send it to a school, email it, or you could have an app. Set something up on an app where everybody can download it, and it's all located in one central location. You don't have to worry about everything that goes on with the mail, weather delays, and all of that. This is so archaic, and this is exactly why the NCAA has fallen apart, because they have failed continuously to roll with the times, and when you force them into a situation, they don't want to adapt, and they live in the courtrooms. This is just another indication of how far behind and just ridiculous they are as a whole, in my opinion.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. No, I'm often amazed, right? These things. I guess you've got to do everything you can, but also, and I really hope that you're not a person who makes your money on junk mail, mailers. If you are, good for you. But again,
stop killing the forest.
In the Paul Catalina presidency, that junk mail, spam calls, and all those things, they go away.
It needs to.
Nothing comes to me that I don't ask for. Nothing. I'm not hey, I'm pre-approved for a credit card. Mm-hmm. Well, you're pre-rejected. So I've already pre-rejected you.
Right.
And look, I appreciate a pizza coupon just as much as the next guy, but I would
always forget to use them.
I would always just rather, when I want to go order pizza, go to the site and see what deals they have and just do that.
Or look up, you can find codes.
Yeah, it's not now. Used to be, believe me, when I was in college, we kept all those pizza coupons. We kept them all and we used them all. Mm-hmm. Although I'll tell you, Papa John's in a college town, I had a buddy, Keith Alberstead, who's a comedian. Look him up. He's fantastic. He had a joke that he was like, Papa John's coupons, they'll do anything. You can just tell him, I got a pizza coupon here for 4 large pizzas, 50 chicken wings, and a dime bag for $25.
Oh,
and they're like, yeah, sure, yeah, we'll. Tito will be right out, yeah, and look, I know this. I've told the story many times about the Rays. If you went to a Rays game, I don't know if it's still, but back in 2003, the 2003 Rays, the Devil Rays, the back of every ticket had a free large pizza from Papa John's.
Oh,
so if you went with a couple people, you would call the Papa John's nearest to your apartment on the way home and be like, because it was a free one topping pizza with the race ticket. So if you had 4 people, you could get like a sausage, a pepperoni, a cheese, and a mushroom out the door, and just walk in and be like, "Here you go." All you had to do was pay the tax, and then we'd always tip them. But like, here's $10. Like, thanks. I got to know the guy pretty well. He's like, "How many Rays games have you been to this month?" I'm like, 7.
More to come.
Believe me, the tickets are dirt cheap, and I get a free pizza.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that's the last time. So this is going to be more of a thing. Like, if you walk over to like any of the, well, I guess they probably don't live in dorms like they used to because of NIL. But if I walked into the nice apartment complex that they're going to park the 5-star freshmen in, and just look
for the Lambos,
and like if I stood by the Lambos,
just look for the Lambos
at the Longhorns, place where they live, and just followed the mail guy around. I was like, "Hey, you he's got like 20 postcards he's putting in." I'd be like, just keep them.
Yeah.
They're going to get thrown. They're going to get ignored and thrown away. That's what it is. A postcard. Got to be kidding me.
So ridiculous.
Private equity is probably coming to college football. Well, it's definitely coming to the NFL. And experts are predicting that by, what year is this? That in 2 or 3 years, private equity, this is from Ben Fisher from Sports Business Journal, private equity will hold positions in a quarter of the NFL in just 2 or 3 years.
What?
Well, the NFL is big money. Like, private equity is gonna, like, they've been probably.
Well, that was my thing. Is when this came out about the NFL getting involved with it, I was thinking, did people in the college football circles catch wind of this, and that's why they started talking about it first? And you haven't really. Well, I haven't. I can't speak for everyone. I haven't seen the backlash, the confusion, the concern about this the way we saw it with college.
Here's the thing. College is mostly non-billionaires.
True.
Seeking out billionaires.
Yeah.
These are billionaires, coming together for the cash
orgy. Is this a monopoly?
No. I mean, the NFL is a
I know
legal
the NFL is a monopoly, but
they're not even really a monopoly anymore because there's other professional football leagues that exist. They just don't make it very long because it's hard. But they have an antitrust exemption,
right?
Okay, but what this is inviting billionaires that have a bunch of money, inviting other billionaires into the cash orgy. That's what it is. So if you think about like Eyes Wide Shut, as opposed to this being just exclusive to the 30 people or 32 owners, now they've opened the doors to other people to put their mask on and walk around.
So that's my thing. It's like I wonder how long it's going to take for, like, say a franchise like the Giants or or the Cowboys, somebody who's been owned by one singular family for so long before they eventually say they turn it over to the kids, the grandkids, and they just sell out. Like, how long is it going to take before it's just a bunch of companies and you lose like the family aspect and everything that it is and was with all of the NFL? It just kind of seems like a transition that we're seeing into the new wave of the future.
It is.
It's weird.
It is. From Brett McMurphy, Penn State, when favored by at least a TD, has won 24 consecutive games under James Franklin. In that span, Penn State is a remarkable 19-4-1 against the spread. Nittany Lions are an 8.5-point favorite at West Virginia. Garrett and I are calling it.
I'm taking the Mountaineers.
That streak comes to an end.
Yeah. Look, man, I think everything that is going on in West Virginia, the anticipation, you had Pat McAfee out there today, just the entire, what this means, what this win could mean, not only for that program and Neil Brown as a head coach, but like the Big 12 in general. I think it just means so much more to them than it does Penn State. Penn State is good. I just also feel like I'm not sold on Drew Aller. Like, I kind of feel like he is what he is at this point.
Wait till you hear from Kenneth Davis. I mean, he likes him.
I'm more on the Garrett Green train. And now he's definitely going to have to throw the ball better. And that offensive line is going to be tested. But I feel like there's just some energy right now in Morgantown that if they blow this, I don't know, like, if you could ever get back up. Yeah. Like, it's going to be hard. You can't just blow this game if you're West Virginia.
No, you absolutely cannot. They've got to do this. They've got to do this. They really do. All right. Also from Brett McMurphy. Do you have? This is not the video.
Yeah, another video. This is the screenshot.
This is the screenshot of it. I don't know if any of you saw this last night. Minnesota, North Carolina played a game that was delayed. And we'll talk about poor Max Johnson here in a second. But they missed the game winner last night. Minnesota did. They missed what would have been a game-winning field goal. And the fireworks, the pyrotechnics guys were so locked in, they fired them off. Anyway. Now, thankfully, it was just the one and not the fireworks show. Like, they didn't hit the full button, but there were still fireworks after they missed a field goal. And
this is so Minnesota. Like, this is just a team, a school. We see this all the time where you just don't know, like, have a winning culture, or you're still kind of, like, new to it. You get a little high. Like, this would not fly in the SEC.
Yeah.
Like, people would lose their minds. There would be a lot of firings.
I just think, hey, Wade, what you watching? Gophers. Okay. Gophers, like that. I see those guys like.
I'm just waiting. I've honestly, when this happened,
Gophers shot off fireworks after we lost.
I cannot wait to get Pierre's reaction.
Oh yeah,
when I saw this, Thursday, I was like, dude, I cannot wait to hear Pierre talk about this.
Oh yeah, it's man. Oh, and I feel bad for the poor guy who was just like sitting there by the button and then hit it, and then like the other guy's like, no, Steve. Yeah, really bad.
Did you see the kick? Was it even close? I didn't get to see it.
I've seen it since then. What?
But was it not even close?
It was
kind of close.
Like, depending on the angle you were looking, if you're in a stadium or watching, like field goals sometimes
it can be tricky.
I've been in the press box 1,000 times and been like, if I can't see if like for example at AT&T, I can see on when I'm at Cowboys games, I can see on the side of the field that we are because we're. Yeah, you're right there. We're like right caddy cornered right above it, so you can see when it goes in. Yeah. Unless it's like just gets in the far side of the left upright. Sometimes it's like, okay. But even then, you can also see the officials right away, too. But on the other side of the field, I can't really see them. I have to look at the Jerrytron. Yeah, at the Jerrytron there. So, so it's different. So I understand somebody being back there going, oh, it's good, and hitting the button. And then they're like, no, it's not.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
So gonna go. I don't know what's the food of Minnesota. I've been there, but it was
Man, I don't know.
The best thing I had there was sushi, and I know that's not the food of Minnesota.
I have no clue. Probably like some sort of fish. It's got to be like some halibut or something, maybe.
Yeah, probably. Terrible news from Max Johnson last night. North Carolina quarterback, formerly of LSU and A&M, son of Brad Johnson. His brother Jake plays at North Carolina now too. He hurt his hip last night, had to go to the hospital. Hopefully it's not as bad as it looked, but it looked really bad.
Yeah, I know a lot of things were coming out like the knee, and then Mac Brown confirmed it was the hip, but like this really sucks. Like Max Johnson he's a good leader. He's somebody that you would want to rally around, and I just hate to see any injury like this. And I really feel bad for North Carolina because you've had two elite quarterbacks leading up to this. You were hoping Max Johnson could kind of be that bridge guy to carry you over. Then this happens. I don't know where you're going to go from here, but it really sucks for him overall.
Yeah, absolutely.